They're trying to neutralize that shit quick.
That's very possible scenario. But you know,
I was looking at
Black
something where
people with high
they
tech
said
and powers. Go ahead.
they're opening up this thing, and when they're not prepared for whatever comes through, so they're fucked anyway.
they
I
are, but
mean,
they're trying to create something that can counterbalance it. But that's the European mindset
but
to
how do you
try
Yeah.
know
to
what's
you
gonna,
know.
like, how do you, if you don't know what's coming through, how do you know? Like, your AI might be equivalent to just a human being
But you
in
got to think about this,
comparison to what's coming through.
Joanne. Though this is one thing that we none of us have information on. They're always overly repaired. Technology is way
That's true.
beyond what we understand. You know what I mean? They're not gonna tell us all the counter, like all the stuff that they got, for to counterattack. They might even really have superpowers. Yeah, I mean things like that. Like they're not telling us everything. They're not gonna tell us
That's
all the
true.
secrets.
No, they
You know what
don't
I
tell
mean?
us
So
everything.
we just going by the world that keeps us closed in. We're not going by that other world. Come on, man. If you can open dimensions, you got weapons and you got all kinds of stuff if you're dealing with that kind of energy and power anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That makes sense.
so that we don't know what these people got like for counterattack or however they probably know so much more. And that's why they're doing it anyway, because it's probably something. I don't know what they know, what kind of technology they got to see through that dimension, whatever, but it's probably something they want out of there. And it's
I
scary.
wonder if it's something like they're trying to
More power.
get it before it
But
gets us.
no, it's not that.
It's
No,
it's
it's
it's,
conquering.
it's
They
not
conquered. They
that.
conquered.
It's not that. But yeah, let's roll our credit before we get deep into this.
Cupcake, you be good. I'll give you a
And
cupcake.
we are back.
Yeah, what happened there? That was kind of slow. I don't know. Maybe it was something with my connection.
Possible. Everything was normal on this thing.
Okay, then my connection is garbage right now.
Yeah. Um, it's funny because when you watch Stranger Things, the whole point of the show is there is a dimensional portal, and they're training these
Right.
kids to fight whatever comes through and to close the portal. And it's
Right.
infringing on the human world. So the government is training these kids to use full capacity of their minds to fight the beings that come through.
You lose.
Yep. So they're really telling us what they're really tinkering around with, as far as this dimension is concerned. Like we were talking earlier about the Mandela effect. Um, I'm not gonna lie, it had me questioning not my sanity, but I knew something wasn't right, because I know for a fact, definitively, growing up, there's certain things that I remember very vividly, and that shit has changed for whatever reason. It has changed, and I don't know how. I don't even know why. I just know it's not the same. I
Right.
grew up eating fucking Jiffy. Period.
Damn.
Jiffy peanut butter. Now, why it says Jif now, I don't know. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and a bunch of anomalies, man. That's like Star Wars. I know for a fact, and correct me on this spot, when Luke found out that Darth Vader was his father, he said, "Luke, I am your father." And in
Right.
one show, it says, "Luke, I'm your father." That shit not normal. Look at pot face.
I can't get. I can't. I can't. I'm trying to figure out. You kind of froze me a little bit because I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know which one it was, honestly.
It's. I've seen both, and that's not possible. And
You know,
just go
you
ahead.
said something. This is backtracking just a little bit. You said something about Stranger Things and how they were training the kids to fight whatever comes through the gate. I mean,
Yeah.
comes through the portal, and to use mind control. Did anybody see on the Super Bowl commercial how they had like an Alexa, but you were able, you didn't have to speak to Alexa. She was reading your mind. Like you
They had a
could have
commercial.
a commercial on the Super Bowl. When I talk about this and I caught it briefly, and I was like, oh shit. I said it out loud. I was like, it reads minds. But nobody else caught it. And when I ask people if they've seen it, nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Nope.
I
But the
never. I
reason
haven't watched the Super Bowl in years. The only thing that was similar to that was when I watched Starship Troopers. When they had like stuff for the guy. That other guy was in infantry, and the other one was in. What I mean, did y'all ever watch Starship Troopers?
of course, that shit old as hell.
I did.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but you know how they had certain. The guy was in there for because he was good with his mind. He was at the top level, like
He
the
was able to talk to the bugs.
yeah.
The only
So
thing that
you
I can
saying
add to what you said, Jay, was the fact that sometimes I ask that about my phone.
me
Because I could be
too.
holding my phone, I ain't saying shit. And it's almost like it can read my thoughts. And when I open it, whatever I was
Me
thinking about is there.
Yeah,
too.
that's true. That's true. That's definitely true.
Me
How?
too. It's like something just so random, like you just a thought, and your phone
Well, think about this.
actually.
Think
What
about
if we
this.
what if it's the other way around? What if we're reading the phone?
Mm,
Instead of the phone reading us, what if we reading the phone? What if we holding it and we're picking up with the phone? Because phones deal with short radio
That's
waves. Short radio waves travel through the air, kind of like
that's the
how our
thought.
thoughts do. So who's
well,
to say we're not picking up the
It can't
signal that
reverse.
the phone is receiving and it's popping in our heads? Who said that? That's not possible.
That's
that's true
the
too.
thought
'Cause
too.
you gotta think about it. When you watch your YouTube, like if you go on YouTube on your TV, it gives you everything that you're interested in. Everything that what I mean. It knows how you think. It knows what you like. Anything related. Whatever it is, it knows. Like if you went on any individual TV and you just look on their YouTube channel, you can tell what kind of person they are just by all the stuff that pop up on a
Yeah,
YouTube channel.
those are algorithms. What they do is when you start your account, whatever you search, it it searches out those algorithms and populates your shit with that.
Yeah.
It's designed to do that. Everything on the internet is designed to do that. It's
Right.
Yeah.
algorithms.
But
So when you
just the
shopping for
thought.
certain things and all that stuff, your interest, even on the phone, like you said, you start thinking about something, or if you
Let me
say
see
it,
if I can
period,
find
talking
it.
about the conversation, you look back on your phone, all these resources popping up about it, or this and that. It just start
Now I think
telling you, like,
the phone is listening for that does that.
yeah,
I think the phone be listening to us. But there's a guy called Cliff High. He's a white dude. He's like a scientist, philosopher. I've been following him for years. He created this software called the WebBot. And the WebBot was software that was designed because Cliff felt like every human being on the planet was psychic. So when you go online, he was able to create software where he calls these spiders. He was sending these spiders to scour the web, and whatever people are thinking or whatever they are predominantly talking about, he was able to gather all of this information, and the computer software was able to take this information and formulate it into a code, and then he was able to decipher the code in a linguistic manner, and it was able to regurgitate to him different events that was going to occur at different time frames on the planet. He was able to predict future events with it.
Well, Dre,
And
I
he
found
did
it.
that quite a lot. You found what?
what are you doing?
It's if you go to YouTube, it's called the Alexa Mind Reader commercial. That was on the Super Bowl Sunday, and nobody knows what I'm talking about, but it's here. Alexa Mind Reader commercial.
Alexa Mind Reader commercial. I think what we're dealing with, man, is I just think that we're reaching a point where man on this planet got to figure out what he gonna do.
I'm gonna
Because
send it to you.
he's at a point, and I can just be honest. It's not people of color. It's not indigenous people of planet Earth that's trying to do this. But I definitely let me see if I can
You pulled it up?
is it does it start out with a guy and a lady and a man?
Yeah, and they're standing like in a kitchen or somewhere.
They're coming down some steps.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see.
I never thought to pull it up. I should have pulled it up for everybody I was asking. Like, did y'all see that commercial?
Oh my God!
Let's see what she talking
Hey,
about
babe,
here.
check this out. Alexa, it's game day.
Streaming football on Prime Video. Closing blinds. Chilling rosé.
Rosé?
Well, it's an afternoon game.
It's like she can read your mind.
Your mind.
I love that we get to sleep in.
Ordering fresh mint mouthwash. Extra strength.
I was thinking I should get a spray can, because that's on Wednesday.
Activating blender.
Funeral's on Monday.
Oh, that's the gold, Papa. Can't you see that treasure all along? It was here.
Love the eye patch. When does the show open?
March 8th.
Setting reminder to fake your own death on March 8th.
What the?
When you have to do those love scenes with hot guys, is that fun or is that like the worst?
It's the worst.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Scarlett, this bread is delicious. Did you make it?
Yes, it's from my Gammy's recipe.
Announcement. Gammy is short for she bought it at Whole Foods. Announcement. Colin left the oysters in the car for 5 hours.
It's probably better unless it can't read your
I
mind.
saw this
Bad
commercial.
idea.
What's the game?
You know what that reminds me of?
Hush.
Colin? Michael?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's
You
getting out of
remember
here.
the movie Maximum Overdrive?
A
What is
little
it?
bit. I can't remember.
When the comet came past Earth and it caused all the machines to kill man, turn on man. And there was a big 18-wheeler with a goblin face on it that was the leader.
Damn.
I do not remember Maximum Overdrive.
I don't remember. I remember Mad Max, the Thunderdome, but not
So-
that.
Yeah, we'll get back to Maximum Overdrive in a minute, but let's get back to this CERN situation because people are concerned about CERN.
Well, it happens on tomorrow. I mean, on Tuesday, right?
The 5th, the day after the 4th. So yeah,
Tuesday.
I guess I have to get ready and get myself put together, get on my my survival gear and everything when I jump into that truck and drive out, where I gotta go to make sure I get back. So I gotta bring my gargles and everything. My knife, I bought a hunter knife yesterday and everything, man. I was gonna start buying everything for my backpack just in case, man. So I'm kind of ready.
I think basically, whatever's going to happen is going to be so subtle that you're probably not going to notice it right off unless we have something catastrophic that happens and everybody's going to notice this shit. But
Right.
whatever they're doing is so subtle that we're not picking up on it until it's brought to our attention, until it becomes apparent. And I think when things become apparent, they've lost control, buddy.
Sure.
So
you always gotta be ready, though. You always have preparation. Can't wait for that. You gotta treat it like
And
it is all.
Thank you. I honestly think like if it is something that's going to be like crazy, it's not gonna. It'll be like trickle down like months. Not
They're not gonna let
immediately,
us know nothing
like when they
anyway.
do it, like not the same day or the next day, but over time, like
if it's going to be something that's going to affect us, then probably so.
Right.
If they lose control with anything, which I don't think they. I don't know. I don't want to take an educated guess on that. All I know is, I think it's more of a controlled environment than we think, for the simple fact that, CERN can create black holes, but not black holes in the sense of swallowing up everything here. I'm talking about small, very small situations. And it's funny because I was just watching Umbrella Academy, is another show of mine, and they had this orb or whatever that was opened up in another dimension, and they were sent to a parallel reality or a parallel universe that was similar to the one that they were in, but things were slightly different, like we were saying. And there was an orb there that was turning into a black hole that eventually was going to destroy the entire universe. And they had to basically shift to a different timeline, which is another universe, in order to survive. But that seems like the theme these days of, I don't know, maybe they're trying to find a way to escape this motherfucker.
They ain't taking us though, and that's the scary thing. They ain't taking us with them though. That's the scary thing.
How you know they're not running from us? As it says, I remember, Bobby Hemmett saying that there's something in people of color's DNA that if the powers that be ever rose up and tried to exterminate us all at once, there's something that will come online in our DNA and just destroy every fucking thing. So they have to do their dirty work slow and one by one and very melodic. But if they just said, you know what, we're going to just wipe them out. We're just going to start a campaign right now where we're just going to exterminate all of them. He said there's something in our DNA that will come online almost like a superpower and just destroy most of this shit. Words of Bobby Hemmett.
Sounds logical. because I'm not the
It
same
sounds
person when
about
I'm.
right.
It's like
But
it's like having your back against the wall. You have a lot of, you turn into something completely different when survival is at hand. You know what I mean?
and
So
you know what movie that reminds me of? The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I saw that.
yeah, I seen that. I always saw parts of it. It was a long movie, right? I always like kind of pitched in here and pitched in
And
there to watch.
basically, they showed up to Earth. It was one alien dude. Keanu Reeves showed up to Earth. Everybody was scared, and they had these orbs around the whole planet, and they were basically saying, "Look, they were collecting animals. They was collecting all the animals in pairs, all the fish and bugs and crickets and all. They was collecting all that shit in these little glowing orbs." And the president, I think, was a lady at the time, and she wanted to know why you here, and he was like, "We're here because y'all fucking up the planet, and we're here to exterminate you, to get rid of you because we left y'all in charge to take care of the planet, and y'all fucking it up. So we're here to get rid of you, and we're saving all the animals and all that type of shit, and we're gonna get rid of all the shit you built because they had these they released these things look like a dark cloud, but actually when you really look at it, it was these small not microscopic, but it looked like a bunch of grasshoppers. But they were able to eat
Oh
metal.
yes.
They were able to eat through metal. And they were eating everything that man had built on Earth that was machines and everything, buildings. It was getting rid of everything that man made. And they were pleading with the extraterrestrial to not do it. And he was like, I think that the moral of the story was the little boy and his mom had to convince the alien guy that man has the capabilities of changing his ways and doing the right thing. And the alien was like, no, we gave y'all ample time to get this shit together and y'all still fucking up the Earth. So we here to get rid of y'all. And they brought this big ass robot with them. It was like a sentinel. You know those sentinels off
Yeah,
the X-Men?
that shit's scary, dog. Yeah, I remember that.
And every time they tried to, make a move with some might, that shit would shut them down. That big ass robot thing or whatever. And it would just
Yeah.
sit there quiet. It wasn't aggressive or anything. It would just sit there. And anytime they made a move of aggression, it would just shut them down. So who knows that we may be dealing with a situation where man has really fucked up the planet. They've done fucked up things, and now something has to come and get some check and balances together. And if you're not in tune with nature or in sync with the energies that are coming, you're marked for deletion. And I that's a part of my philosophy. I firmly believe that a lot of us on this earth are marked for deletion because we're not a part of the agenda of refining ourselves, helping, adding on, coming up with solutions. We're just here taking. We don't even have a thought to add on to the betterment of the planet. You're just here.
Right. It's just
Eating,
money
sleeping,
hungry.
shitting.
It's just money hungry thoughts. Everything is based on money. Everything here is basically based. Even like think about it. Think about plastic, for instance. Plastic is destroying everything, right? They everything is being made with plastic now. Everything's surrounded by plastic. Everything is plastic. Knowing that plastic is destructive, how it's used and all the chemicals used in it, and how it's destroying the ocean and all that stuff. Why not go back to glass? Why not go back to what I mean? Like
they encourage
or paper, glass or paper.
It's
but being cheap
that
is the issue here. Like they want to be cheap and make profit instead of doing it the right way.
They have a whole purpose behind it, because I was just looking this up last week for my son, and I like my grandson actually, and I told them to look it up. It's there's a product in well, not a product, but like a hormone whatever have you. I forgot what it's called. It starts with a P, PYTH something. But it's gender bending, like
polyurethane. Polyurethane.
It's not polyurethane. I'm gonna tell you right now. But what happens
BPA?
is,
BPA or that stuff.
I know it has. I know what you're talking about. It might be BPA because a lot of stuff says BPA free.
Yeah. BPA. That's in a plastic. But the thing about that is, it's still plastic at the end of the day. It's still it's still a chemical. It's still I don't think that's even enough
And
because
for the young
the
kids,
animals.
like bottles for like their bottles, they encourage everybody to drink out of glass or those like mason jars and stuff like that because like it lowers the testosterone in the young toddlers, like the younger
That's
kids
true.
coming up, like so that they can, push
But
this
they don't care about
agenda.
that. They care about profit because it's cheaper to deal with plastic. So it's like everything is dealing with being cheaper. So it's like they're selling you things, and everything is based on profit. Like like cars, for instance, cars was made of steel and all that other stuff. Everything now they made it out of cheap aluminum, and they charge you more for it, but it's cheaper to make. The parts, the little plastic parts inside the engine and all that break all the time and all that stuff. They rather go the cheap route than go the right route. I just don't understand it. Like, stop trying to make money off cheap shit, doubling it. Well, you just do the right thing.
I don't think it's just about them being cheap because it serves so
profit.
many
I'm talking about cheap.
Well,
I'm talking about cheap and
that's
doubling
just
it.
one thing. That's just one thing. I think that serves so many different agendas. It's not even just the money or being cheap, but the chemicals and things that are in there facilitating other shit like that. That theoretically can feed, the medical system from the shit you may develop over time from the plastic. Now you got to go see the man, and that's money. So it's like one thing feeds the other. So I think on so many different levels, it ain't even just about the money, but it's also serving a purpose. It's just like dumping something in the environment because it's a byproduct of something and you don't know what to do with it. And I'm gonna give you a good example of what they do that with.
Soy.
It's an oil. It's some sort of oil, a byproduct of an oil. And instead of them getting rid of it, they actually put it in the food supply. But anyway,
I found it.
You did?
It's PHTHALATES. And it says it like it contains like gender bending chemicals to found to feminize boys.
That's true.
It's very true. It's very true. So it's in toys, it's in baby feeding, it's in bottles, it's in paint, it's in the food.
Right. That's why, and this goes back to what I just said about people being marked for deletion. If you're not conscious enough to get around these types of loopholes, you fall victim to them. Everybody's not on that wavelength to think, how to survive on so many different levels.
Exactly.
And that's just letting nature know you're not ready. So by default, you have to get caught up in the bullshit. It makes sense.
That's like when they had the baby food shortage. Like baby food shortage. Like, okay,
that
there's
shouldn't
a
even be
shortage
a
of
thing.
baby food. That shouldn't even be a thing. Like, like that shouldn't even be a thing. Like,
But it
I
is.
don't know, but
and that goes back to the parents. I mean, you got some moms who can't, and they got medical issues, and I'm not talking about them, but for the majority of moms who can, they just don't, and they feel like they're pro-choice, and I choose not to, and it's my right. So now by default, you're subjected to this shortage thing. Whatever comes down the pipe that deals with that, you now place yourself in that scenario where you got to deal with that now, when really you don't have to.
You don't have to. Like,
So
your body
choice.
provides the milk. Your body provides that milk and that nourishment. And then as they're eating other stuff, like blend some shit. Get some vegetables and the same stuff they sell you in the store. Get some of that and make it work. That's what I did when my kids were small.
But that's different. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
I used to do that. Like make your own baby food. Like get your vegetables and all that stuff and your apples. Get your organic.
It ain't gonna hurt them.
And just blend it down. Yeah, and just blend it down.
It ain't gonna hurt them. They make it seem like they got the resources for everything. Like you can't do this and you can't do that. You got to follow their way of doing it because like it's a money making system. It's like everything has to be somehow paid for. So they, like I said, you can throw people starve to death in produce. They don't even know what's food around them. They don't even know what they don't know what's food actually. They don't know what's real food. They'll starve.
The woman's body is so amazing. She gives birth to the child, and the body produces the milk to feed the child. Like,
right.
Yeah, like, yeah, that what happened prior to like baby food and baby feedings and all of that stuff? Like, you were straight
Well,
breastfeeding or that baby would starve. Like, there was
it's
no other
marketing and
option.
power. It's marketing, breastfeeding, it's power. It's changing your whole. It's changing your DNA to some point too because you're not going to be able to produce to generation because we're used to being breastfed instead of being creative or developing from self. It's all handed. You can reach out and get it now. And then to me, that was always the problem in the world to me. Like
Convenience.
people need to be better instead of making themselves better. Oh, there's a pill for this to make you lose weight. There's a pill to make you think better. There's a this and that. You need this to be able to do this. You need this to be able to do that. You need all of this except for yourself. It's like
And it sucks
destroying
because
our
how
DNA.
they're able
That's
to
destroying
put
it.
metals and all kind of shit in your baby from the time your kid is an infant. They're subject to all of this fuckery that's in the baby food because that's, I guess, choice. I guess.
It's not that. It's not choice. It's because you're being raised in a system to think a certain way. Just like school. When you first go to school, school is about preparing you to live in this world, to accept this world. School is like the first part of reality here. Once you go to school, they teach you the ins and out about this world. And when I say world, I don't mean the planet. World and planet are two different things. Worlds are created on planets. So planet, don't get it mixed up when I say that. So the world that we live in is a program. So school is, the beginning, step 1, step 2, step 3, to actually, what's the word, Dre? What the hell am I looking for?
You're basically saying school is the first step of programming for society to create a good machine. A biological machine is what we are. And if they can program us, we'll go out in the world and we'll follow suit on the program to keep the whole illusionary world sustained. So once we stop subscribe, but here's the thing. Programs have an ending and then you need a new program. This is where we're at. This is why CERN and all this other shit is so important. We're at the end of a program or the end of a world. With that being said, the people who have taken control of this particular world, they want to make sure that they're maintaining control in the next world or the next shift or the next phase or the next whatever. They want to maintain control. So they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that we fall in line with the next series of shit. I don't think they got a good grip on it. And I think they're trying to figure out mechanical ways to be able to do that. And I think CERN and who playing drums?
I'm so sorry. I'm getting him out of here. I'm getting him out of here because I can't. I'm sorry.
They're trying to figure out a way to basically be the new rulers in the new world. And I found that video that we're gonna check out. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. But y'all gonna have to listen because he's gonna really be detailing some things here. Y'all ready, or you need a minute?
Give me 1 second.
Not to mention, I don't think we were ever introduced to real food. I don't even think anything we eat is real food. I don't think nothing is actually real. I just don't believe. I mean, I know we're designed to consume, anything damn near if we could process it right. But at the same time, what is real food? I don't even believe
real food is the real food that we used to have is in another dimension.
Yeah, exactly.
And we lived in that dimension at one point. We just don't live in that dimension anymore. It's almost like when you look at old slavery movies You look at the food and you know it tastes different because it came from a more pure source.
Right.
And as we got more quote unquote modern and more advanced, things got further and further away from being original, even us, you know. But let me if y'all ready, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the play button on this
I'm
so we
ready.
can unpack this thing to see actually what and the guy that's talking, he's like one of I call them nerds, but he's one of the nerds who was a part of this whole AI and CERN thing. And then there's a guy that's narrating the video, kind of like, picking apart, what he's saying. But in a nutshell,
I'll put some more ice boots.
it's just going to bring up the speed, some of the variables about the technology. And this guy is just keeping it a buck. This is not a person who has an agenda or anything. He's just there's actually other nerds in the room that he's talking to get them to come on board and be a part of the team that facilitates these types of things. We give him a minute. But yeah, this video is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, man. Very interesting, man. I know you thinking something. I know you are.
Me?
Yep.
I am. What gave it away?
Because I'm thinking something.
No, you know what I was just saying to myself, like, it's so annoying how they're just able to control all of this stuff, and like, why can't people just like get it and everybody just, come together and
But you have the answer to that, Joe. If everybody got it, right?
yeah.
What would be the purpose of us having this
I
conversation?
know. But it's so annoying. Like, it's so like
you can't
like all of the shit that they're doing. Like, it's like,
what if we're supposed to enjoy the ride?
That's true.
Look at it this way. And we can agree to disagree. What if you were chosen to be here to experience this ride at this juncture? There's people that transition that are not here anymore, and they won't get to see us go through the grand shift. They've read about it, they've talked about it, but they're not here to experience it. But we are. How lucky are you?
That's true. To a degree.
No matter how bad it looks, but
that's true, because I think when I hear little things like what I was saying earlier about the 88-year-old lady with Emmett Till and them finding that arrest warrant, like things like that, kind of, I look at those things like, wow, like,
you live to see that.
I get to see those things, like, as far as, I mean, I don't even want to use the word justice, but as far as that goes, like, no matter how old you are, like, yeah, it is what it is. But I get the enjoying the ride, but then I think of like my grandson.
What about him?
Like me talking about like all of this stuff that they do, like, the gender bender stuff and just all of these things, like where you just have to be vigilant and just kind of do things a little differently. But ultimately, I'm not his parent.
You know what your job is? Your job is to play your part at this moment in time for his benefit. And then one day, he's going to be having the same talk, hopefully a different situation, with his kids.
Yeah.
You'll be gone. So he continued the marathon. It's like what you do in your 40s and how you treat your body in your 40s prepares you for your 50s and what kind of life you're going to live in your 50s. What you do in your 50s and how you treat your body and how you prepare yourself in your 50s is going to be a dictation on how you're going to live a life in your 60s. That's how that's how we look at that. So what you do right now is so important because it's going to dictate what kind of life he's going to have later. And what he takes from what he got from you is going to give him the life he's going to live. And what he does with that is going to dictate the type of life he's going to create for his kids. So we're all playing our part.
That's true.
I know that sounds philosophical, but it's like, whatever, Dre, man.
No,
it
makes sense. Like, I can't even.
I'll be here when y'all kids' great grandfathers and their great grand. I'll still be here. So
yeah,
I'll talk all about y'all when that time comes. I plan on being here for thousands of years.
He'll build a tree. He'll be a tree.
Nah, I think I'm a master. I think I'm gonna be like that. No, seriously, though, I truly believe that I'm not going nowhere no time soon. My mission, my mission is not. I don't even know where we're going right now. I don't know where I'm going, but
you just know you going, and that's and you should think that way. You should think that way. You shouldn't put limitations on anything.
Yeah, limitations. Yeah,
just go.
I think Pot's belief has me believing the same thing for him.
Yeah,
I don't plan on leaving here because my job. I have a job to do, and it's a long life, generations of generations. You know, what I mean, my imagination and what's in my head is like on somewhere, and it's gonna take a long time to get there. But that's what my mission is, and once that's over with, then maybe I will take a deep breath and just disintegrate into the sway.
And see, that's important because I just had this talk with somebody about age, and I was cutting a client, and then I'm gonna get into this video about CERN and D-Wave and all of that. I was cutting a client, and he's balding in the top. You know, men struggle with that shit. And I'm like, nigga, you balding. Why you holding on to this? Blah 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 blah. And he don't want to let it go. And I was like, that's cool, that's fine. He was like, I'm in my 60s, and he was like, what you in your 30s or something, man? You got a head full of hair and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I got a head full of hair, but I'm not as young as you think.
Right.
And when I told him my age, he was like, man, get out of here, man. I don't believe that shit. And here's the reason why I don't tell people my age. Here's the reason why. What people see with their two eyeballs is real to them. So however you see people or this world, that is your own personal reality, and that is real to you. Right. Until somebody comes along with some information to contradict what your reality is. So if you see me as a certain age, that's how you see me until I present information that contradicts your reality.
Right.
So I don't get into arguments about that anymore because people don't believe it. And they're right. However you see it, that's however you see it. So if you see yourself as young and vibrant and whatever, then live that reality. But he was like, what's your secret, man? What are you, like vegan or something? I said,
the way you think is the secret.
Wait, let me finish. Because it's going to tie into that. I said, actually, what happened to me when I was about 6 or 7, I moved to some projects in Jersey, and everybody there was years younger than me. Keep in mind, I'm like 6 or 7 years old. So what I did was, I'm not conscious of age and things like that when you're a kid. You just assimilate into your group, your peers, the people that you're around. And what I did at that time, I hung out with kids that were younger than me. So I naturally reverted to that age. And all the cells in my body did the same exact thing. And I never left that zone. So what happened was, even though on paper, my age may say X, Y, and Z, but at 6 or 7, I altered that by getting my consciousness to be in sync with everybody else's consciousness in my peer group. And my body stayed there. So now as time goes on and I'm a certain age, where my consciousness has synced itself, it don't even match up with my fucking age. and that's what happened.
But there's a I don't know if it was a story I read or I was listening to something, but it made so much sense. They said, why do you think like a blind people usually look younger, way younger than what they are?
Because they're not in sync with the world around them. They're frozen.
And they're not looking in the mirror. Like they're not looking in the mirror to notice like their hair is turning gray or this is going on and that's going on and all of that stuff. And like kind of adding to that. So
contradicting their reality.
And you know what's funny? I just had a conversation with somebody about, they said, well, when you turn 50, you're going to have like a 50-year-old birthday party, blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what? No. You know why? Because what's going to happen is that's going to affirm my consciousness into that age. And then my shit going to pick up from there. My body is going to literally be in sync with that and pick up from there and move on. And that's not even where I'm at. So you're right. Your external world is what it is based on how you see it. And
exactly.
Your body and your cells and all of that shit inside is going to be like, okay, that's what he sees. And then we're going to follow suit.
Exactly. Because that's how you exist on how you see yourself. So
yeah.
So the cells are you in your body. There's no difference.
Right.
There's no separation.
So that's what happened. It was no magic potion or anything. It's just you can literally, especially if you catch it early on, if you learn this early on. I didn't know the science, but I was just, by default, I was just put into that situation. And I kid you not, even sometimes I question that shit at times because people will be like a fucking vampire, man. You ain't. I see you got some gray hairs, but your shit, you still look the fucking same. Like, what are you doing? And that's that whole consciousness in sync thing. That's all it is. Not saying that doesn't help. It does help, but yeah. Why you think I follow your mind? Period.
I do what I do. I haven't changed a bit. I still do my little martial arts. I still think I got superpowers. I do all kinds of stuff, man. I still watch. I still, I do kid stuff, but I think like a grown up. I use what I need to get by, but I don't never look at myself as being old.
What's gonna happen? You know what's gonna happen when we get about, let's say 65, and we have this conversation. We gonna look the fucking same having the same fucking conversation because we have literally figured out how to hack the system, and I'm waiting to test that theory straight up.
Me too. I've been talking about it since I was like, when I was I said 500 years old back in back when I was real young. I never believed in age from a child though. That never really sunk in my head. Age never sunk anyway, without even knowing it, without even knowing what I know now. It just never sunk in my head. I was like, I'm gonna live to 500. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna give myself a number. I'm not gonna say that 70 years old, I'll die by 70 or this and that or this and that. I was like, man, 500 is my limit. But now that I have a more understanding, it's really when I'm ready to go. When I'm ready to accept myself as being old and look at myself as being old and, be old, then my time is up.
Yeah.
Because my cells, I'm the general. Every cell in my body, I have to truly know who I am, though, for those cells to react right. I can't pretend. That's the problem. People try to pretend to feel a certain way. No, you got to really know. And that's the difference. Knowing and pretending is two different worlds. Some people think they got to...
Usually when you're pretending, you're like pretending because you're trying to impress other people, like in a sense, and not actually for yourself,
Or you're trying to convince you.
It's more like this. Let's say somebody say this, like a wise person will say, well, you got to do this to do that. You got to feel this way and that. You try to mimic the feelings. Because it's like you're wearing a costume now. You're not doing it on purpose. It's like you throw the costume on. Okay, this is gonna save me if I start feeling like this. Trying to feel. You can't. There is no try. There is no try in that feeling. That feeling has to be a natural understanding.
Yeah,
it has to be. It has to be so full.
And how we try to. Because I would say that it's gonna sound weird, but my age has paused. Like
That doesn't sound weird.
the way I feel it has paused at a certain point and it just don't move. It's just it's right there. It just
Right.
it doesn't move. And I don't know if I did that intentionally, but even there's times where it has paused. When you don't keep up and then be in sync with certain shit, you know, you it's on pause.
Mhm.
Right.
Wow. But this ties into fucking with the dimensions and shit. Because when you start changing timelines, you start you know, when we was watching Doctor Strange in the multiverse, in the different realities that exist, when you start merging shit and switching shit around, you start altering, you know, things that are supposed to be, which is a risky game to play. Watching the Umbrella Academy, this is all they're talking about in this season. Different dimensions and then being shifted to different timelines where they're there, but things are slightly different. And if you subtly change things, people are so distracted they don't notice shit until you bring it to their attention.
Right.
And that's what we're dealing with right now.
That's
I
like
mean,
the witch thing that I watched
what?
with that witch that kept
But
going
that
back
stuff
to
is
slavery.
reprogramming.
Yeah. It's kind of like that show. Yeah.
We need this stuff though. The new generation needs stuff like that. The new, like, you know, like I said, like stuff like anime and all that stuff. It's opened our kids up to new dimensions. So it's not bad. Like stuff like anime and these new shows and stuff like that. It's preparation. It's a sort of the world is trying to show you preparation to a new world.
No, it's not a bad thing. But I will say this: we have to go back and teaching sacred knowledge in secrecy. We can't
don't
be on
have to
Front
laugh.
Street with this no more. We got to go back and teaching high levels of knowledge in secret. We can't be out on Front Street with this no more. Like Jedis are trained in private. Like anybody who's trained in any type of high level of anything, that shit's done in private. Monks don't display their abilities to levitate and do all this other shit. All that shit's done in private amongst people who honor and respect their tradition. But that the things that they can do is very real. It's just not on display for the world, because the world, you know what happens when
Distraction.
definitively we, not even that, but when we have definitive proof that somebody can shoot a fireball out of their hand and burn some shit up. We had definitive proof that this can happen. You've seen the movies. There's people that's going to show up and try to kidnap this motherfucker and take him somewhere and study
You're
him.
going to become a science project.
So there's certain things you just, we have to go back to teaching in secrecy. This is how our ancestors got down. And if you wasn't worthy to learn, then they just wouldn't teach you. You had to prove yourself, kind of like a monk. You know how those monk stories go. Train me, master, train me. Hell no. Why not? I'm willing to do anything. No. He might be begging for 5 years for this nigga to train him, and he's steady telling him no. And then just to get a conversation, he may say, you know what? Go get me 2 goose eggs 10 miles away and bring them back, and I still might think about it. And you gonna go do that shit. And only to get back with the eggs. Get back with the eggs, and the nigga still tell you no. But he really testing you to see how devoted you are.
Right.
I got something to tell you.
That's what we need to do. I need to hit this video. Go ahead,
What's
Pop.
kind of
Make it brief.
Like, you know, even like, for instance, you know, people think they getting old, right? You know, we up there in like a higher age, right? So you would think I would have bone issues with my hands. What I do with my hands is you would think that I would have broke my hand already. Something, you know what I mean? That I would have done did all this shit. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, dog. I punch concrete, dog, like walls and stuff, like I'm punching a punching bag. And my hands would be all bloody and everything, but they look fine right now. There's no bone injury. I mean, at first there was injuries, but
get some sound effects.
But somehow my healing process, the mind and the body, there's an understanding of what's going on. It knows that it's doing it to get stronger. It's not doing it to be weak and run to a hospital or get something to pump in my arm to make it feel better or this and that. the more pain, the stronger my bones get in my hands. And I'm telling you, I could punch a brick wall like I'm punching a bag, dog, hard as hell with all my might, and nothing ain't gonna happen.
So
So that's crazy.
Jay, you know why? That's the answer to your question that you asked earlier. Why can't we just get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the more shit that's thrown at us, what happens?
We evolve, get stronger.
Exactly.
I
There's
get
your
it.
answer. I'm gonna hit the video. Let's get into it. CERN, D-Wave, quantum computing.
Year and a half ago, and it clearly shows CERN alluding to the Mandela effect. These guys were basically flaunting, or they were playing along, basically telling us that they were behind the Mandela effect. Now, why am I showing you H.P. Lovecraft? Why am I talking about the Mandela effect? Okay, here we go. Here's Jody Rose in his own words explaining that what they're pulling through from other dimensions, it wouldn't be accurate to call them demons because demons doesn't quite sum it up. In this video right here, you're going to hear Jody Rose in his own words explain that they have opened a literal tsunami and that mankind is not going to be ready for this. Here's Jordy in July talking about the Mandela effect, the quantum key to the pit, and the rumors that CERN and D-Wave are behind the Mandela effect. In his own words.
Over the years there, I got sent pajamas, a whole bunch of stuff. You know, there's lots of interesting things that happen when you build something like a quantum computer. But just as an aside, because I thought it was funny, one of the interesting things that happened from the D-Wave story is there's this gigantic conspiracy that's arisen on the internet that goes like this. So D-Wave built quantum computers. The way that they work, if you know how this works, is one of the interpretations is that you tap into these parallel universes and they do computations. Sounds really weird, but
notice that he tries to ridicule his own words. You know, it sounds really weird. They tap into other dimensions, but he's clearly showing Anthony Patch, and he just basically glosses over the whole thing. But this is going to get much, much more serious. Now, and I also am playing this at a faster speed to avoid a copyright strike. So there's that.
What's happened is this idea has been hijacked to describe something called the Mandela effect, which is this thing where the past changes. So think about something you know to be true from the past. And then imagine you went out on the internet and you can't find it at all. It's not there. It doesn't match with your experience. So these people think that D-Wave is responsible and CERN. And of course, the quantum key to the abyss factors into it somehow. I'm not exactly sure how. Okay, so that's just D-Wave. I did that for about 15 years.
Now, before I made this video, I called and I texted Anthony Patch to get him to comment on this, and he hasn't gotten back to me, and he probably won't. So there's that, because, you know, why not? At any rate, this gets much worse. In this video, he's saying that he's basically done with D-Wave and he's working with Kindred, and they're going to make AI robots that can do every single solitary thing a human can do, but better. Now, notice the symbolism on his shirt, because these guys are loaded with it, because everything that they're doing is on the occult level, which is why they surround themselves with symbolism at all time. They have to. It's part of the deal. You see what I'm saying? It's all coincidental, but these guys are constantly and always wearing the symbolism. But I digress.
What you've heard about AI is not what we mean by AI. What we mean by AI is a software system that can do literally anything that a human can do. Literally anything. And obviously, computers are better at things than people in lots of different ways. So now imagine, not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they can do everything that the best human at any task could do better than them.
That's
so
false, but
mental Olympics of the 100-meter dash, and Usain Bolt is the fastest person. Now imagine that's some kind of a mental thing, like writing a novel or writing whatever. Imagine now that the thing is so much faster than Usain Bolt. Like, for example, it's a spaceship. Yeah, it's still doing the same thing, but it's doing it so much better because we're limited, because we're people. So what Kindred is trying to do is solve this problem. How do you build machines that are better than people at everything? Now, there's a mental block that we have here when we think about this. Because when you think about that, one of your questions might be, for example, what are the applications of this? So imagine this. Imagine for $10, let's say, I could build a machine, like a little robot that had fingers and eyes and all that. And it could do your job better than you, no matter what it is. And I could sell that to your employer for, say, $15 and make a profit, instead of having to pay you $100,000 a year.
So right off the bat, This goes back to the video that TruthStream Media put out a year and a half or so ago called Obsolete, where they are literally going to replace humanity in every. No one will have any jobs whatsoever if these guys get their wish, because they're bringing through demonic entities. Now, does that sound like a conspiracy theory? Of course it does. But do you know where that comes from? The horse's mouth. Continue listening, and he is going to straight up say it. And you should be terrified, and you should be prompted to prepare yourself spiritually, because this is a spiritual battle. No two ways about it. I don't care what you think. There's a reason.
Sounds like he's trapped up in his own head.
There's just no two ways about it. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Now, stay tuned, because Jordy is going to straight say this. And he also says the same thing that I say all the time. This is going on in the background, whether you know it or not. He also alludes to the fact that everyone's worried about the healthcare plan and sports and television and the news and politics, while this continues to march on in the background. I've listened to this exact interview with Jordy, or this presentation with Jordy. I've listened to it at least 15 times since yesterday.
Now imagine that was true for every single job. So that's what we're talking about here, is a complete and utter transformative change that of the likes of which has never been seen before in the history of humanity, making the Industrial Revolution look like a little tiny blip on the path that humans have taken from when we emerged from the ooze a few billion years ago. We are right on the verge of that transition now. So this guy, Rich Sutton, is one of the most famous people in the academic world of AI.
Now listen.
I'm gonna pause it for a second. Now, this sounds just like Skynet.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what this sounds like. Skynet. Machines. The rise of the machines. But anyway, let me keep going.
Listen.
Is he a machine?
This
Shit,
guy
he
is
might be
the guy behind the D-Wave quantum computer, the only quantum computer in the world that is accessing other dimensions, according to what they are telling us. He is telling us that we are on the verge right now. So pay attention, because what he is going to say should shape your entire future.
And like many, when asked, when will this happen? He says things like this. 25% chance within 13 years of this thing that I'm talking about. You know, when you think about what you read on the news, you know, CNN, BuzzFeed, whatever, they're all kind of the same nowadays. Think about how unimportant that thing is that you're reading if this is true. Yeah? So what does this have to do with aliens? So Sam Harris, who I quite admire, is a very interesting guy, was reciting this parable at a TED Talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this. So I'm, say I'm the President of the United States. So I received this message from the heavens. So my microwave dish, my SETI dish, finally captures something. And what it says is, in 50 years, or 13 years, we're coming to your planet. You got to be ready. Now, just imagine what would happen if that happened. A super intelligent alien race beamed down a message to all of us Earthlings saying, we're coming July 13th, 2030, and boy, you better be ready, because the mothership is landing right on the front lawn of the White House or wherever you wanted to land on that day. The amount of resources that would be marshaled to try to figure out what to do would encompass the whole world. AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, you know, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room.
I disagree with that part.
Pay attention.
Wait a minute.
Because he's literally disclosing right this moment
that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware. Because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way.
Okay, now I'm going to pause it right here. Now, what he's explaining and what Elon is saying, that whatever y'all summon or bring out of this portal, now, typically when you do rituals and you summon demons, there's a pentagram that you have to draw on the floor. There's things you have to put, like candles, and some people put salt rings. So whatever you summon from another dimension is trapped inside of that circle. As long as that circle is intact, that entity can't leave that circle. So it's under your control. So you can bring it in here and you can talk to it and you can have dialogue or whatever, but it can't leave that circle because the circle that you created is a magical barrier where it can't cross. Elon is basically saying, yeah, y'all have this technology, but the guy's being funny. You draw your pentagram and you try to keep, the entity trapped inside of that circle, but it never goes that way once you bring this shit through. That's pretty much what Elon is saying, that once y'all do this, y'all think y'all going to be able to contain it, but that's not always the case. Anybody got anything to say before I hit the video again?
Well, the thing that I don't agree with, he keep on talking about the intelligence part. He must be talking about what, 85%? Because I don't believe a computer can ever be smarter than somebody who's really intact with their mind. So I can't never see that. It can't adapt as fast as a human being. It can't do none of that. It can only be calculated to do something, but it doesn't calculate all the obstacles that come in between all the other things. So a computer can never ever be able to maneuver like a human being. It's a direct shot for a computer. So no matter how smart it is, a computer won't be able to endure pain and punishment. That's the difference.
I agree. Let me add on to what he's saying. Consciousness, which these nerds are trying to really they're trying to isolate what the spirit or the soul is. This is just how diabolical the nerds are. I'm just going to keep it a beam with you. But I think he's talking about computing speed and power. You're right. They can't they don't have emotions. They can't make a rational decision on in other words, you guys seen iRobot, right?
Right.
Now at the beginning of iRobot, when the car went in the water, Will Smith's in the water, and I think there was a baby or somebody else in the water.
Right.
The robot jumped in, and the robot had to make a decision on who it was going to save. And the decision that the robot made was to save Will. And Will was upset at that because he felt like his life and where he was in his life was already accomplished. The robot should have chose the younger individual based on the fact that they had more life to live. But a robot can't make that type of decision. It's only going to make a calculated decision on how important Will Smith is to society. Because I think he was like a police officer and all this shit. So, of course, the robot is going to say, this guy is more important than this person if I got to save somebody. And that's where the human nature comes in. Robots can't do that. But he got some more, because I think where he's alluding to is they're creating these robots to combat whatever the situation is. It have it arise.
Like he's trying to see, yo, but it sounds like he's trying to like threaten people more than help people with you know what I mean? Like if you listen to his analysis, he sound like I'm creating something that's gonna destroy all y'all. That's what he sound like. He don't
Well,
sound like
That is what
to
he
help.
sounds like.
He
Well,
sound
what
like
he,
more like this thing is gonna destroy all y'all. I can't. I'm so up on my high to accomplish my experiment. I gotta see it done, even if it kills me.
Pot, you glitching. You was glitching.
I don't know why it's glitching then, because everything is normal.
But no, he's not. He's not trying to create something to destroy us. What he's saying is that he's letting everybody know that what they're going to create is going to be superior to us, but at the same time, it's not designed for us. It's designed for another reason. Where you keep in mind, he's talking about creating something, and then you got CERN. Two different conversations.
Right.
AI. Remember, he gave the analogy of the alien showing up,
right,
and how we would have to gather all of our resources to fight this shit.
Right.
He said
Right.
that's what AI is for. Whenever they open whatever they're gonna open, and whatever comes the fuck through, that's more. Keep in mind, we don't know how to deal with some shit that comes through a portal. It's just gonna be. It's maybe more powerful than us. They're trying to create AI to combat that because man is not capable. That's what he's saying. Y'all got it?
Yeah, it still sound like something that's gonna backfire on itself though.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, but that shit happens. It does
Yeah.
back. We've seen the movies. You know how this shit
Yeah,
play
I
out.
was gonna say like the movies. Yeah.
They sound
But,
like but it do and it also sound like you know how you create something and you know you don't care about the aftermath. You just like
But
as a
that's the
scientist,
European. That's
you
the
want to
European
create it.
mindset. They don't think like
Yeah.
that. They're not
I just want to
concerned with.
create it and accomplish it. I have a project and I'm so anxious to get this project going and to do what was impossible. Just to see it is all that matters. I don't care what happens after that.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
not.
want to.
But that's their typical MO. That's like, just like she was saying with the plastic. I mean, plastic is a good thing to have far as containing certain things, but look at the after effects of how the detriment that it has on society, the chemicals that it has,
It's
and
even worse than
the
the
effects.
natural shit.
So yeah, so it's like they don't think about the parameters of how it's going to affect the whole picture because they're not holistic thinkers. Africans are holistic thinkers, so when we build shit that's in tune with the environment. Them motherfuckers be like, oh, y'all got some herbs down there in the African rainforest that can cure cancer? Send some bulldozers down there and burn all that shit down and get it. But they're not thinking about who lives there. They're not thinking about the 1,000 other herbs there that can cure all the other diseases. They don't give a fuck about none of that. They don't have a holistic view of the entire situation. They just focused on one agenda and one agenda only. And that's the mindset of the European. They have like a tunnel-like vision because they don't have a relationship naturally with the environment, with nature.
It's like Avatar.
Yeah, exactly like Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna proceed. I'm gonna put you on mute, Jay. Somebody playing drums.
Please,
right.
yes.
So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons,
now pay attention to this.
Capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn of the century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons. They're not evil. Same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons. They're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want.
Now,
before he start talking, let me pause this shit here. Now, Stranger Things is exactly what he just explained. Those beings that live in the upside down, those are the same entities that H.P. Lovecraft wrote about in his books called The Great Old Ones. It's the same exact thing. And if you watched Stranger Things the last season, well, if you watched it, period, you ever see the image of that thing it looks like a big spider, but it's really huge. It's like a big being, but it looks like a spider.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch this, man. I haven't watched that since the first. I know the second season. I haven't watched after the second season.
If you're gonna watch Stranger Things and you're lost, start the fuck over from the beginning.
Yeah, no, I got to. I know.
Don't be skipping shit. But he explained those entities that those kids are fighting. That's what he's talking about. Because those things, well, anyway, but yeah, those great old entities, they're in Stranger Things. That's the whole
And so
story.
I got this too to say. Even though he said just like how we treat ants, but think about this. Guess what we do when we got we got stuff to get them out the way when we trying to make something for maybe a home or something that we trying to create and they're in the way, or it can be irritating. We could be irritating. Our existence could be irritating, so we can be exterminated.
That's the same thing he said about the entities. They're not good or bad, but their view of you is the same way we view ants. We let ants do what they do, but if they infringing on what the fuck we got going on, we gonna kill them motherfuckers, or we step on them, not even conscious the fact that we stepped on them. Because I cut my grass and I run over an ant mound, and I'm not thinking about it. Destroyed their whole shit.
Right? Exactly.
But anyway,
just like Godzilla, like they said about Godzilla too, even though it's a movie, it's like Godzilla don't care about no humans and none of that stuff. He destroyed, even if he trying to save the planet, he ain't thinking about us. That's why the buildings get all trashed down and all that.
He is doing what he does, and he's not factoring in the moral aspect. I just smashed the building and all the rubble fell down and killed about 1,000 people. He don't give a fuck about that. But on a greater scale, he might be fighting some shit to save humanity as a whole, but a lot of motherfuckers going to die in the process.
Right.
So I get what you're saying.
Does it too. Superman
this guy is like he's like dancing around the fact.
A lot of the superheroes have a moral aspect to them. That's what the bad guys always point out. Your love to save people is your Achilles heel. Because if you didn't give a fuck, you can kill me with no problem. But the fact that I'm gonna smash 30 of these motherfuckers and you got me cornered where you can kill me, you won't even kill me because you care about them, and that's the moral aspect of your superhero.
Right.
Godzilla is not a superhero, but he will bring checks and balances on such a bigger scale where there's collateral damage at the bottom.
Right.
Moving right along.
God, that's what gods do, man. That's what gods do, man. Gods
that's the perfect word. That's the perfect word.
Man.
You can spin that
I
any which way you like. He has straight up told you these entities that we're summoning into this world. He's putting a call to action out. He's sitting in front of a classroom full of code writing students and asking them to come on board right now. He's already said that they've opened the floodgates. He's already described what they were. He's already saying that they will appear to be quote unquote alien. If you want to stay in your holiday season, your safe space, whatever you want, this is what we've been telling you for years, and this is why we've been telling you, because while everyone else is watching BuzzFeed and CNN and NFL and everything else, some of us have been studying this ad nauseum. This is it.
Aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the US. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.
How much clearer do you need it to be said? This is the guy that started D-Wave. This is the man that's given us a high-speed internet connection to other dimensional beings. He is saying it. Here it is. It couldn't be any clearer. I don't know what else to tell you.
So, on that pleasant note, we're hiring people to try to make something like this happen. And of course, you know, this is a very difficult project, of course. And I'm kind of a little bit tongue in cheek about all this, like, you know, how bad things are, because it's not really like that. You know, technology is a double-edged sword. Even something like this, it's agnostic. It depends who wields it. If you want to have a say in how all this goes,
I gotta pause this. Let me bring this screen back a little bit. It says Kendrick's mission is to be the first to human level AI. We are hiring demonologists, software engineers. Now, why would you need a fucking demonologist and you're creating software? And
maybe
you gotta watch the show. No, do y'all know what D-Wave is? D-Wave
no, what is D-Wave?
It's your first quantum computer. He built D-Wave. The guy that's talking, he built D-Wave. Right. It's a quantum computer, meaning it's able to compute in the quantum realm, in the spiritual realm. So
how do you build something like that? Is that even a fact that this computer is a
all I know is I've seen pictures of it. It's cold as fuck. I forget how cold they have to keep it. But keep in mind, when entities show up from other dimensions, I'm pretty sure y'all have seen movies. They tell you how the temperature shifts in the room. It gets cold. Right. The D-Wave computer it's cold. They keep it. We'll have to do a show on that, and I'll pull up some information and do some slides. But yeah, he built D-Wave. He left D-Wave and went over to CERN. So he's hiring people to build human level AI to fight, and he needs demonologists. What's crazy about this, I'm watching the show Evil on Netflix. No, it's not on Netflix. It's on I watch it on Prime, but it comes on CBS, I think. It's this black dude, the dude that played Luke Cage. He's the star of the show. Black dude, bald head. But I can't unmute you. Why not? But on the show, they're basically it's like a spiritual version of X-Files. It's a really good show. But on that show, all of these demonic entities that has come into this dimension, they done took on human bodies, and now they have interwoven themselves into different aspects of society. So now they're like at your they're your computer programmers, they're your trolls on online social media, they're your trolls. They work at the news network, they work at sperm banks, they work at fertility clinics, they work in politics. These are actual entities that took on human bodies, and now they infiltrated society, and they're trying to hardwire society to give birth to vessels to bring their homeboys through, so their homeboys can come here and live in this dimension and take this dimension over. That's what Evil's about. Shit crazy. Jay, I can't unmute you. Are you unmute? Jay, try to unmute.
I did.
Okay.
Unmuted.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah, I did it because I could hear
demonologists. I think if you need a demonologist, wouldn't that be like more of a counter to understand the, you know, the actions or what actions would be not suitable to, you know, if you need somebody that specializes in a certain knowledge.
Okay, do you know what a demonologist is?
I don't know what it is, but I'm just thinking my own knowledge. It would be somebody that specializes in actions, like demonized actions. So you kind of understand moves. And
well, let me
it's like
explain what a demonologist is. It's an expert, but their expertise is in demons, the actual entities,
right?
The different beings in the different dimensions that can come
Right.
through. It's an expert on those.
Right. So would that be
not behavior, not behavior, entities.
Right.
Not behavior.
So, yeah, but wouldn't that be like wouldn't they from their perspective, that would be somebody that know how to counter a demon or something like that, like how to deal with it, or
Your Catholic Church has
something like that.
Your Catholic Church has a lot of demonologists in it, and they know how to
neutralize them.
Yeah, they perform exorcisms, so they know how to, you know, trap them and expel them from people's bodies and get. Yeah, they like Ghostbusters. They like Ghostbusters.
That's why they've been showing so much Ghostbusters stuff now, man. If you notice, it's a lot of who you gonna call or Ghostbusters or everything. Like, it's weird what's going on in the world today, man. You don't notice that?
What's crazy? Like, on while he was talking and he was talking about the part where they summons these things, he was dancing around it as if to say, like, they don't know if it's something to fear, or like he was dancing
because
he was contradicting.
No, he was just saying it's power will put it in a position where we don't matter. That's all. That's basically what he's saying. So just like how we treat ants, that's basically the analogy that he's going through. Well, most likely it's going to be something that's way more powerful than us, but we don't matter anyway. So it won't target us at all, but we might be in his way of its destruction or its actions without even being, you know what I mean? Like, noticeable in it, you know?
He was dancing around because you can't give a definitive description or analysis of something from another world. You can't. You can only could assume that's what the AI is for. The AI is to have this thinking capacity that if something comes into this world that we only have a speculation of on how powerful it can be, we know it's going to be powerful. We know that. We don't know to what degree. So what we need to do is create something that can think better than us to counter it. That's what it is.
So technically, what if whatever came through and they wanted, I mean, they weren't what we all thought, like,
I told you black people
all of that.
I just said a group of black people go just come in and like thousands of black people just. But it's gonna be their worst night.
They would basically try to use them. They would basically try to use them or it to their advantage.
Man, they'll close that portal so fucking fast.
All I can say is, when you get to the demise of a certain civilization is when they have technology that becomes perverted, when they start utilizing technology for all the wrong reasons. We have so much technology that can fix so many fucking human problems, but they're using it in a perverted manner to open portals and fuck with the weather and all this other shit. That's a telltale sign that there has to be a level of destruction for things to get back on track, because the technology will be the downfall.
And that's what you talk about.
Enemy. Technology has always been our enemy, man. I mean, it's already shown that it's our enemy now. I mean, technology, the more advanced we get, the more walls that are built, the more, you know, detection and everything is creating a digital prison. So the more we get deeper into it, the more we gotta find ourselves stuck in a real prison.
So I think and it's funny because in Stranger Things, this is exactly what the fuck.
I gotta watch Stranger Things, bro. I gotta watch. You get me hyped to watch it.
The girl last season, before the one that just premiered, She the one closed the portal. The government was training the kids to utilize 100% of their mind to combat the shit that was coming through the portal. That's why the kids were able to use their minds. That's why they had the laboratory where they had the kids. Well, in this one, they show more of what the kids were doing, but they're able to read minds. They're able to move objects and break necks with just thought and shit like that. They were training those kids to utilize 100% of their brain power to fight whatever. And the girl, she's the one that closed the portal. In the last season, she closed the portal. But it had already infected people in our world where it had a way to come back. Now, spoiler alert, at the end of this season.
No.
Okay.
I was going to say, don't. Don't
Shit get real.
do it.
Shit gets real. I can't wait. Like, it's on a whole nother level of
Wait, what season is it now?
4.
So I gotta. Oh shit! I only got. Okay, I got 2 more seasons to get to. I got 3 seasons to watch, and the other one is starting when?
It already started. It started. It started on July 1st. I think July 1st. I already watched the motherfucker. I binge watch. I watch episode after episode.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
I have to binge watch.
But yeah. It's along the lines of what he's like what the guy just explained with the whole CERN thing and D-Wave.
Right.
They wanted to utilize the kids to combat whatever came through the portal. The girl closed the portal last season, and she defeated some of the entities or those things that came through. But what happened was whatever came through infected some of the kids, so it was able to stay in our dimension,
right?
And I don't want to tell too much, but long story short,
I don't want you to
like
tell it.
like old boy is saying, it's one thing to bring something through and battle it and keep it kind of contained to a degree, but when you open a door and it engulfs the whole world, that's a totally different battle. Because now you've took one dimension and you've merged it with ours, and that's on a whole nother level. And Stranger Things goes there at some point. The shit, like the battle becomes not just with the kid, because those kids saved the world at least 3 times. When all episodes they saved the world, and nobody knew they saved the world. Nobody knew about 11. The only people that knew about 11 was everybody in her circle. But nobody else in the world except for some of the secret governments and the Russians, I think, they knew about all that shit was going on. But the world didn't even know that these kids saved the world 3 times. But now in this situation, at the end of this situation, it's at everybody's doorstep. So it's totally
hold up. So Stranger Things is some good math for society, because I know damn near half society is watching this shit. Stranger Things is a big show.
They're watching it as entertainment.
Yeah, they're watching.
I don't watch it as entertainment.
But
I mean, I don't either. But I'm just saying. But at least they can get an understanding. I know, you know what I mean. Like they can, like have an understanding.
They're not pot.
Nah, they're doing it. Yeah,
niggas is having a happy moment, like you said.
It's like Star Wars, like you said. Like nobody understands Star Wars.
They're getting their favorite food, like you said. They're sitting in front of the TV and can't wait to sit down and eat their favorite shit and watch Stranger Things.
Yeah. Bowl of chicken wings and a couple of ice cream, Klondike bars, anything you want. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand.
So that's what's going on with that. But D-Wave, CERN. CERN is a particle accelerator underneath the ground in Switzerland. They were looking for the God particle. They alluded to this in the movie Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks. So CERN does get fired up. It has been fired up a couple of times. At least that's what they tell us. We really don't know how many times they fired it up. Shit could be on right now. But they're supposed to be having it fired up on the 5th. They're supposed to make it public, which means you're supposed to log onto their website or whatever, and you're supposed to see this shit live.
That's
I
scary
read
too. I don't
something
even think you want to
yesterday
see
that
it. I don't
said
even think you want to do that though. I would want to. I wouldn't even want to see it because you don't know what kind of
no.
effect.
That might be some mind control type
It
shit.
might be.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
might be.
yeah. I don't think you want to see it, man. That's like a lot of movies show you. You know when movies been
You,
showing that for years. If
yeah, you
everybody
tune
tune
in,
in
and
on
next thing
something,
you know, you being hypnotized.
or
No,
or
I
or
don't want to see it.
or
They
you
did
open
that.
the dimension.
What movie was that? You're right. You're
Your
right.
energy can direct. Yeah, it could be energy too. From your energy can be directing and helping too at the same time if you watch it. If all
Yeah.
eyes is on one thing, you
Yeah, I
understand?
don't know. I don't know what their agenda is. I wouldn't want to watch the CERN get fired up, but
But what we should be doing when CERN getting fired up is we should have all things we need.
I'm gonna tell you, if they gonna fire it up on the 5th, motherfucker was already fired up before the 5th. That's just
I
how they get
read
down.
something yesterday that it was already fired up. They're just gonna crank it up to the max,
Yeah,
capacity
yeah,
on the
yeah.
5th.
Max on it. Yeah, yeah. It's supposed to be the max.
So that's how I roll. When they give a certain date, they already did that shit. So
Right.
it's already at play.
And you on a mission, man. You about to travel. You gonna be in your car, man. You gonna see an entity just fly past your car real hard, like.
There you go, man. This Ghostbusters, not to divert, but Ghostbusters, the movie was the same way. That was a gateway, that was a portal that was on the top of that building that they were
Yeah.
opening, and those entities were coming in and spilling over into our world. And the Ghostbusters, their job was defeat whatever it was and close the gate. Same
Right.
shit.
Right.
Yeah. That's why we got
All of
one
those
of the
movies have
Ghostbusters,
the
man. That's that
same
80s
theme.
love, man. That's that 80s love, man. Ghostbusters came back strong, man.
I'm just waiting for
What
I
did
just want
y'all
to ask y'all a
think?
question.
What did y'all
Y'all see
think
that new
about the
Top Gun? Oh, I'm
commercial?
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Did you see the new Top Gun? Yeah, I think it's a new Top Gun movie or something.
Yeah, it is. I might go check it out. I'm a fan. I just
Yeah, I'm
ain't
a
been to the
fan.
movies in so long. I'm gonna go check it out.
Top Gun, baby.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
What you was gonna say, Jay?
What did y'all think about? What did you think about the Alexa commercial?
It's normal what's going on right now, period. It's just now you can buy it in your house and you can talk to it and it talks to you back. That's basically what it is.
I don't think it's reading minds. I think it's AI. So it's calculating and computing so fast that it's feeding off of what's the word? The best possible scenario or outcome to put with whatever phrase or whatever you already introduced to it. Like if he says spark plug, he just said spark plug. It's taking that and kind of piecing together bits and pieces of your conversation.
Where do you think that's going, Dre?
Artificial intelligence like Google gets smarter the more you feed it. So the more we talk, the more we feed it information.
It learns.
Our phones do that.
Dre, what do you think? Where do you think that's going? Because if you could sit down and tell me, if you could sit down and tell me that you don't say something and you look at your phone and that same something, and this commercial is a Alexa, the mind reader commercial, which nobody seems to have seen until I mentioned it today. Where do you think that's going?
Well, it must be reading your brain sensories because it's probably like a diet. That shit might cause cancer too, something like that. If it's that, I'm just saying. Think about it. It must do an analysis on your brain,
because
as you're in the house, and it knows if you're sending out fake
with what you said, Dre.
Huh?
I don't agree with what you said.
What did I say?
That if you said spark plug, it's feeding off of like basically like picking up on. Look at the commercial again.
Yeah,
it's reading your mind, but it's reading your brain waves with the words. Like, let's say you said something, right?
I don't think
it's reading your. Huh?
I don't think it's doing that. I think
I'm just giving my own. I'm not saying that's it either, but
here's my opinion. I think the software is designed to collect information. This is what AI does. This is why our phones are able. to do what it does. This is why
Right.
social media and Facebook is able to do what it does, because it's all AI. So the more we feed it, the more it's able to adapt to give us exactly what it's calculating on what we're either going to say or do. So I don't think it's reading the mind. It appears it is reading the mind, but that thing has been fed a level of information and it's computing so fast that it's putting together the best possible situation or scenario catered only to you. I'm gonna make.
Yeah, but what if it's more like the what if it's really like something like the like Xavier, like when you used to go into that thing where he can read people's minds and they all that stuff like that what was it that thing he'll be in? Dr. Xavier from the X-Men. He'll go into this thing. What's that his
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So would that be like relating to the supercomputer? Huh?
No, because that thing cerebral. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah.
That tapped into the psychic ability of all the mutants. Well, people, period.
Right, but I'm just saying
the mutants. So that was.
So what if that could be the same thing? What if that's a small?
For the first time, I don't agree with Dre.
I don't think that it's tapping into our consciousness. I don't. I think it's such a quick and fast computing system that it appears that it's reading your thoughts.
That's true. He said that. You're right. It could be going through thousands.
Together. Yeah, it's putting together. It's so fucking fast that it's putting together the best situation for. It's catering to you, so it appears like it's reading your fucking mind. Now I tell you this. I tell you this though.
Where do you think that will go?
If it can compute for me in my house because we fed it. If it did that to a fucking stranger, then I'll say okay.
You're almost gonna make me buy one just to.
If somebody comes in the house and that shit is able to do that to them and they don't live there, I'm sold. Which I don't think it can.
If anything, I think it's something that's probably
actually reading minds.
I think it's reading your actions in your brain when your brain. You know how they say that they know if you're lying, if they can read your brain, they know if your brain is lying. Though, so if you say something, maybe it's some more of a higher technology but it's also it might cause other problems too though at the same time in the future. But you might be kind of going through so much microwaves or something like these high energy that it's probably an issue at the end of the day.
I don't know what it's doing, but I don't agree with your theory, Dre. So maybe it is reading minds.
I didn't give it a theory. The only thing I'm saying is I'm giving an opinion on how I may think that it's working.
Well, not a theory, but
I don't think that.
I don't agree with your opinion.
So you think it's actually reading minds?
I don't know what I think. I think
you gotta have a position. It's doing something. What is your position?
So I guess.
So if you don't have a position, then how you gonna disagree with me?
I think it is reading minds.
Okay, so if you think it's reading minds, then it has to be tapped into your consciousness. There's no other way around it.
How the hell does the phone do that? Like
the phone doesn't do that. The phone doesn't do that.
Dre,
No. I know what you're saying. The phone does that thing that we all experience. It does that.
Yes, this is doing that same thing.
But it's not reading our minds. The only thing the phone is doing. Because I remember I was in Jersey one time and me and Pop was in front of my mom's house and we was talking about
not talking.
No, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm giving an example first, but then I'm going somewhere with it. We was talking about something and
the phone picked it up, right?
Soon as you got home, he was like, I opened my phone and that shit we was talking about was on my phone, right?
Right.
Now that's us having a conversation, right? Now, I've held my phone before without saying anything. At least I wasn't aware. And that's another thing you got to be mindful of. Sometimes we say shit, we forget about it, and then we have that blank space, and then we open the phone and we don't forgot that we actually probably talked or said something about something, and there it is. But here's the thing. And my theory is this: who's to say we're not reading the fucking phone because we're psychic? I'm gonna take that position. Fuck the phone.
That's some glass.
That theory I could, because I think we all have a level of.
That's me.
I tell you my dreams and I tell you guys the things that's so. Yeah,
That's
I
my
think we all
position.
have a
I don't think the
level of
phone
that.
is reading. I don't think the phone is tapped into our consciousness. I think we're reading the fucking phone. Like for instance, you thinking about somebody, your phone ring and it's them. How do you explain that shit? I can explain it, but I'm just saying, what's the difference between that happening and you holding your phone and you thinking some shit and you open your phone and it's there? How you know you didn't pick that signal up?
There's a level of frequency. There is a level of some sort of frequency that's
they know something
creating
we
that.
don't know for sure.
It's creating that thing. It's creating that thing. There is a level
There's
of
a frequency, but I think we're the ones picking it up.
We're picking it up, but
that's my opinion.
You think that
Yeah,
would be the same?
That's an opinion. I kind of don't agree with him on that one myself. To be honest with you.
Agree, right? This is the first
Come
time.
on. Listen.
I'm gonna have to write this down. This is the first time I don't agree with you. I have to write this date down.
So let me get this straight. Y'all disagree with me, but you agree with the fact that you can have a thought and you can manifest that.
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that either.
Okay. So that's a real phenomenon that occurs through our consciousness, right? We're able to think about someone and then the motherfuckers call, or vice versa. You can think about them and they'll call you because they pick up your signal. We done did this, right?
I got a question for y'all. I got a question.
So why would we give the phone that ability when actually it could be the other way around and it's us picking up the fucking signal? I'm not giving the phone that.
What about the Alexa? You think we're giving the Alexa?
That's a Jedi. That's a Jedi mind trick. That shit ain't real.
I gotta see what Alexa actually is before I start judging it. I don't even know what Alexa is. I don't know how it's hooked up to your house. I don't know how it's. I don't know the main. I don't know the whole structure or the whole device that's being used. So I actually gotta see this thing before I start really judging what it is.
From my understanding of what Alexa is, it's AI, right? It's a form of AI, and what it does is collects information constantly. It's listening all the time. It never stops.
So what the guy said about creating AI that'll be smarter than we even can acknowledge and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Look at my face. I'll wait. Google is AI.
Okay, I get
them
it.
fucking search engines. That's AI.
Yeah, it is AI. He's right though. It is AI.
Your phone.
Because the guy did say to create.
You ever buy a phone? You ever buy a phone, and
it's the making.
When you first get the phone, it doesn't pull up all the information when you're looking for shit initially. And
until you put your name
phone, and as you keep that phone longer and tinkering around and you start putting this shit in and putting this shit in, it seems like now it's pulling more information.
It seemed like it found you. It seemed like it found your home where you at. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like, okay, I know this is you. It knows your consciousness.
And that's your way. That's your way of explaining that. But you know how much information you have on the web, in the web, around the web. And AI gets smarter the more information you feed it.
Right. So they were building a super computer or whatever it is a long time ago when they first said this was the beginning of it. The whole social media and all that was the beginning of something much bigger and greater of somebody was a big idea. This was a big idea from the start, from the beginning.
Social media.
This thing is collecting so much information that you're right. It's gathering all the information from everybody, from the smartest to the dumbest to the craziest to every single thing that it could possibly have all the wisdom in the world or all the knowledge in the world. And not saying it can't predict, well, maybe it can predict the future if it got hundreds and thousands of consciousness, like just barbarian.
Y'all, man, the
So-
greatest
so-
trick, the greatest trick of these computers is the fact that it's an illusion.
Right.
Because me personally, I may know a lot of shit, but I don't know more than the internet. Right? The internet,
Right.
there's so much information in the internet, it's just unfathomable. And
Right.
it would appear that the internet is magical by the type of information and the speed at which it can retrieve that information. It will seem like a
Right.
fucking god to me.
Right.
That's why niggas be like, ask Google, like it's the fucking wizard or something off the Wizard of
Right.
Oz.
But
Because
it can be getting
stores
false information too. But it can be
doesn't
getting
matter.
false information.
It doesn't matter if the information is false
No,
or not.
but that's it's Achilles heel that
What,
it
false
also
information?
takes in a lot of false information as well. So can actually throw off the strength of the structure off too, because
Information is just information.
information.
If
Right.
it's
Not
false,
just saying for something
then it's
to
only
run
false to you.
You look good in those glasses saying
I'm
that
just
too,
saying.
like a Malcolm X with an extra brain
Like
in
a
the back.
wizard.
So
Yeah.
so walk with me here. Information can only be false if it does not serve your agenda or your perspective or your ideology.
Right.
Somebody
right.
else may take that same information and be like, well, I'm rocking with that.
Right.
Right.
So the internet and the AI and all this shit, all it does is collect data. How you
It
relate to
collects
that data.
data.
That's it. It collects data.
It
But
collects
you know what?
data.
It's moving at such a speed where it appears to be God. The speed
And
at
it's
which it
probably
processes.
so much energy too. I think it's like it might be an energy problem with that too, like because that thing
Guess
is working
what?
like whatever it
The
is
same-
that
Alexa,
working.
Alexa ain't
The
reading no
same
minds.
way we see on Alexa, you might have a point because the guy did say about the AI and being, so you might have
I'm gonna go watch it again. I'm gonna watch that commercial.
However,
Matter of fact, I'm gonna play it again before we get out of here.
we are going into a time where all they have to do is put a little piece of tape connected to something to your head and read every piece of whatever have you coming from your brain.
I don't think they need that. I think
They don't have to do that to read that.
They got better information than that. They got better solutions than that now that you don't even recognize.
So why would Alexa?
They can show you a piece of poop that's stuck up in your booty hole for thousands of years that you never got out. Show you a picture of that.
Let me ask you: if you could stand next to a person, right? And we've tested this theory, Jay.
I already know what you're. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So we don't need machines to do that. And this is where I agree with Pop when he said, AI will never be smarter than human beings. The only reason that man can make that statement and it be true to a degree is because man is not using 100% of his brain power.
Right.
Those kids on fucking Stranger Things, they were taught to use most of all of their brain power. That's why they're able to do that shit that they were doing. Right. So being that we're not if we was operated 100%, fuck what he talking about. None of it. We need really. Imagine 100% of our mind.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
It's not even close. Do with the little bit that we do use.
Yeah, it's not even half. It's not even a quarter. Like
we're not even using a quarter, and we can still do things.
And we've done a lot. We've done a lot. But just imagine.
Right, because we are built on an evolving system. Like our system is like the universe. It's like
it's evolving.
It's universal. It's very expanded. Not even a man can't even create something that's greater than himself. It can be illusionized to his limits, which he has no limits, but his belief.
So for the moment, AI can just it's not that AI will be smarter than us. It's just AI is using a capacity of thinking and processing so fucking fast with information that it can be quick to adjust to whatever the threat or the situation is. And if we were,
but it can't see a situation before it clears we can. I'm sorry.
We can't.
We wouldn't be able. We can, but we haven't evolved to that state yet.
Right. That's what I mean.
So what he's saying is right and exact what dude is saying. That AI will be needed for those type of situations. But if I could use 100% of my mind and these motherfuckers open a portal, I'm whooping ass.
Right.
Right. Well, honestly, though, dog.
Right.
Well, yeah. Let's be honest. If you was using 100% of your mind, a portal wouldn't even be being open.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so
very
it's like,
true.
so it's like sometimes we gotta take it to the even higher. It wouldn't even happen. This shit wouldn't even be a
Right.
talk.
Yeah.
So you might be going beyond your own boundaries anyway, because you're inviting something that shouldn't be invited to the household. You know what I mean? So we can defeat things before, like, you know, it's the same concept as you having two guns and the person throwing a knife at your throat. You done. You know what I mean? Like before you even open, before you have to open the door, man.
So
But
I'm gonna bring that video up again, and I can guarantee you that there is some level of dialogue where Alexa is piecing together and is going ahead based on. And here's what they're not telling you: when you plug that shit up in your house, it's not gonna just start. It's not gonna just start off the rip.
Oh, we got to get to know you, your thoughts, and how you work.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to get to know you.
Is that how it works? Is that how Alexa works?
So you actually
that probably is.
No, Alexa is pre-programmed with your basic shit, but keep in mind, Alexa is a network, so it's connected to
same
the whole shit. So everybody's been feeding Alexa who got Alexa.
Right.
So just
But
because
think
you
about
answered
it.
a question, don't think that a billion motherfuckers ain't asked that same question somewhere else.
Right.
But it probably works just like the internet, though. Like it see
does.
what you kind of relate it to, and it kind of knows how you think, and it'll pretty much sum it all up.
You know what? And Alexa is connected to the internet. So all your searches on the internet, all the shit you like, all the booty sites you go to, everything, it's
Right.
all in there. So it's
You
gonna
go to the booty site.
I just hope she can create something nice sometimes. I hope she create a vision or create your own. You know what I mean? That'd be nice if she could do that.
So that program is gonna feed you information based on your life, your digital life, and what you feed it in your house. Everything that it's hearing in your house, all your conversations, all your arguments, all your questions, all your everything. It's just this artificial intelligence, so it's aware of every fucking thing that's going on. So it's going to be smart enough to give you a response to something about your life. Because if I've been listening to your ass, you know, in your house, I know everything about you online. I'm computing all this shit. So
kind of like you know how I know Aaron when I know what Aaron's doing.
Yeah.
Shit, you know, I know Aaron. Hey, there it is. That's the same example. You know somebody for so long, you can predict their movements and what they're doing, even, you know what I mean, shit like that. So it's more of a prediction system. It you know, like he said, it draws the information and it knows your contradiction, knows just how you are. Like, you know,
it's a customized prediction system based on you.
Right.
So when it answers you, it's answering shit that relates to you and what you like and how you like shit.
Right.
But what about the people asking?
What if that shit asked me, do I want a grape soda? Like, I don't even drink grape soda. Why the fuck would you ask me that? But it's gonna ask me something that I like. So it may say, would you like a cup of green tea today? Well, fuck yeah, because you know I drink green tea.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey,
But
man, technology is
what?
What about what I did I send it to you or did I tell you about it? The asking Alexa about like
that random shit. Yeah. I seen them videos. Zombie apocalypse and all
things? Yeah, the zombie
apocalypse. I'm pretty sure Alexa she's connected to the whole. It's connected to the whatchamacallit. I'm pretty sure
it's connected to the internet.
Yeah, they're pretty sure come up with everything you need and tell you what you need, what guns you need. Yeah. Tell you what guns you need, what weapons you need, what's gonna take the zombies down. Pretty sure it can give you a whole thing, break it down. Cut the neck off, shoot it in the chest, whatever. Alexa, what type of women I like?
So you do
and it'll tell you. And it'll tell you.
Oh, well, come on. I ain't afraid. I got my favorites and all kinds. I'm a man. Yeah, I got my favorite.
Yeah, Alexa will
you
do
it too. You do it too. You got your favorite.
We're getting off topic.
I know I got my favorites. I like ham, hock, pig feet, because you know what tastes sweet. Nah, I'm just playing.
Damn.
Meat on the bone
Yo,
face ass.
and you know what's so bad about it? It knows everybody. Yo, if you could see the world from the internet and look into all, it'd be a disgusting, painful reality. And not even, you'll be like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't believe what you'll see through them cameras.
Yeah. Yeah.
People
I
don't
mean,
realize.
the smartest dude could be
Hey, babe.
beating down a sheep in the middle
All
of
right,
the night.
let's watch this again.
It's game day.
Streaming football on Prime Video. Closing blinds. Chilling rosé.
Rosé?
Well, it's an afternoon game.
It's like she can read your mind. Your mind.
Now, keep in mind, you see how they tried to program you what she can read your mind?
Right.
Wouldn't really know.
Right.
That's pre-programmed shit.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
It's
that's
game.
sort of
It's game day. It's game
I'm
day.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm
You know,
seeing
just
that
what you
now.
do on game day. You go and get your popcorn, you get your what's it called, you do this and that, you sit in front of the TV. They know all that stuff. Your buddies, all that stuff.
I love that we get to sleep in.
Ordering fresh mint mouthwash. Extra
Extra
strength.
strong. Oh.
I was thinking I should get a spray can, you know, because that's on Wednesday.
Activating blender.
Funeral's on Monday.
I want that to go, Papa. Can't you see the treasure all along?
Now, when it activated the fucking blender, keep in mind, they have Alexa systems that control your air, your heat, your open your garage. It could do all types of shit. It's like a smart home. Smart homes are hooked to Alexa, and it operates the shit in your house. Turning on the blender. See, the commercial is a little deceiving, right?
That's what they do.
How would it know that you got some shit in the blender?
Well, I
Because
think that it was turning on the blender to cut his conversation off.
no, I think it was turning on a blender. No, I think it was turning on a blender because it was a routine thing around. It's like probably a routine thing after having a conversation.
There was shit in the blender.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
but I'm just saying it's always. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. That's tricky
It
right
is
there.
deceiving because
Plus, you can put
he was in the
timers on
middle of a
whatever you want Alexa to
conversation.
do. Right.
True. But Alexa, man, fuck Alexa, dog. Let's go on. She ain't doing nothing.
No,
to me.
the commercial is deceiving.
Alexa.
Love the eye patch. When does the show open?
March 8th.
Setting reminder to fake your own death on March 8th.
God,
What the?
when you have to do those love scenes with hot guys, is that fun or is that like the worst?
It's the worst.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Why would you want something like that?
This bread is delicious.
That
Did you make it?
records all
Yes,
your
from
when
my
you talking
Granny's
to yourself or
recipe.
you saying stuff. Why would you want
Gandhi
something like that to
reports
record?
She bought it at Whole Foods. Announcement. Colin left the oysters in the
That's
car
the
for
worst
5
thing to ever.
hours.
It's probably better Alexa can't read your mind.
Bad idea.
Watch the game.
I almost want to get it just to see.
And you notice that
Watch this. I
They're
can show
the-
you how to get.
they're the ones who kept reiterating, read your mind, read your
Read
mind.
your mind. And then they did it slow, like read your mind.
Yeah. So I
That's
don't.
probably what made me catch it. On
Alexa
Super
will be
Bowl
used
Sunday.
and held against you at a time in your life.
And when you get some
Alexa ain't
time,
nothing-
go through the comments. I was telling her when she gets some time, go through the comments to see what people are actually saying.
What are they saying, Dre? Tell me.
They're not. You're not.
Yeah, read the comments because it's a little deceiving, but they're selling the product, so
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but that
usually
product, I
commercials are
guarantee, is
deceiving.
hooked up to the I guarantee law enforcement is probably hooked up to that too.
all the
To hear.
shit they listening, man.
So if
All
you
the
scream or anything or whatever, frightening or anything, cops probably knocking at your door every time you fucking fart loud. You gotta be careful.
That's why quantum computers, that's why 5G and things of such high speed have to be created, because in order for them to fully have a good eye on society, you need a computing system that moves so fucking fast. There's no other way to do it unless you have that. at the
Reminds me of Black
detriment of,
Mirror.
and you got to keep in mind, this is at the detriment of what kind of effects is going to have on society and nature, like
Right.
5G. But yeah, you got to keep in mind that Facebook and all these social media sites and Instagram and all this stuff, you know, Mark Zuckerberg and all of them didn't create this shit sitting in a fucking garage somewhere. They're just the face of these companies. These are government government programs and softwares to monitor society. Period.
The metaverse.
Right.
The metaverse.
That's what it's called. The metaverse. Yep, that's what it is.
The metaverse is like the whole another dimension type thing too, kind of, in a sense, a little bit. The false reality type of thing.
Yeah, it wants you to live your reality into a program because they try to eliminate all the shit on the outside, on the real world.
But see, that's the fake metaverse. The real multiverse is where real shit is happening. The metaverse is a reality created by man that you can go live in, but man controls that shit. They're the gods of that shit.
Right.
They're helping you escape. Too. Yeah, they're helping you escape this reality, go into that reality.
What if the metaverse is like a tutorial before the real multiverse?
Well, I think it's more of the future where you're gonna be only bounded into a program instead of really living a real life. I think.
Well, yeah. This
is what I see. This is what I see. Hold up. This is what I see. This is what I see. Even though
not me.
I see all of this being destroyed. Not destroyed, but I feel like later on in the future, the world. You ever seen like the movies where, like Total Recall, was it? Like when they living under the real world is so fucked up that you get away into the metaverse. You understand? Like you're gonna live your life in a metaverse, and the only way to preserve the earth is by letting the earth be natural. So you're gonna live in this illusionary, in this different dimension mentally.
That's the Matrix. That's the Matrix.
You know what I mean? So here is probably gonna sustain itself because the earth is being destroyed. All should be doing to it. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna eventually we're gonna be living in a digital world. Why this world is gonna be back to whatever it was. Like this is the whatever, you know what I mean, to keep it sustained. I mean that's how I see it. I don't know how they see it, but I think that's my only reason for seeing a metaverse. Like, okay, we're gonna leave this shit out and stop destroying everything out here and let people live inside of a different world that won't affect this world. I don't know. Whatever.
But you all know the metaverse is a world within a world.
Right.
We already live in a simulation. This shit is a simulation.
Yeah, right.
Now you want to create another digital reality
inside of simulation.
Inside of some shit that's already simulated. So it's sinking you deeper into the illusion.
Right. And people will do it.
Not me.
You'll be whatever you want in the metaverse. You could be a porn star, which I'll try to be if I was in there. And you can be whatever you want to be.
I mean,
I could be
what it is, man. I mean,
that'd be nice though. That'd be fun though if you could be a superhero in that mug and everything too. Yeah, you superpower.
That is the prime purpose for the metaverse to live out your fantasy. Yeah.
I'll lock you up, Dre. Everything.
I wouldn't be in that motherfucker. I like organic shit too much.
You'll be like whatchamacallit though. You'll be like Dr. Mindbender. I mean, you'll be like Xavier trying to get into cats' heads. You'll be trying to get in people's heads.
Well,
you don't belong here. Get the hell out of here. Get
I can see that.
He'll be like Morpheus, but at the same time, he'll be doing Dr. Mindbender. He'll be into the system of that, talking like a god or something, like you can hear his voice.
I'll be saying the most outlandish shit. But on that note, I am your brother Mordeeb. This is Brainwashed on Heavy by way of POD. And pretty good show. You know, it's lengthy, it's long, but you know, you get those individuals who like to just follow along and walk with us. And you know, it is what it is. But yeah, man, I wouldn't be too concerned with D-Wave. It is going to do what it's going to do. I think if you have consciously taking control to some degree of your reality, then you will get instructions on what to do and what not to do and how to prepare yourself as we go forward. And because we are chosen. On that note, I'm gonna go ahead and do what we do.
You guys sure don't know how to be quiet. Braylon, come here. Braylon.
That was the wrong outro.
It definitely was. I'm like, okay, I was waiting to see something else, man. I was waiting to see the horn and all that stuff, man.
Yeah, talk for like a couple of like 2 minutes, and then I'll play the other one because I'm gonna go back and edit it so I can chop that shit out.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. But yo, I gotta take a walk to the beach, dog.
Bye.